So before I go into showcasing Gridley, I'd like to talk about how we work, at least with this process in live. And you can see on the screen, there are many different milestones, many colorful boxes, because they are easier to differentiate this way. So of course you have development happening in a pre-alpha stage, pre-production, production of a feature, everything that makes the feature work kind of needs to happen in the alpha. And what we do on live, we usually have an alpha date for the patch, which is, I don't know, it can be between 6 to 8 weeks before you go live. And by that time, the feature in the patch needs to be feature complete. It needs to be in alpha, which also means something that we test for with QA, that the text strings are there, but they might be placeholders. Sometime between alpha and beta is when we have an internal milestone that we call text lock, which means that you need to make sure that all the text that goes with that specific patch is finalized, at least from an English source text perspective, so we can export that file and send it to localization. Once we get back the localized files, we put it in the game, and we aspire to have everything, including the localized languages, by beta, so that then LQA can look at it. And we fix as many bugs as we can, which Gridley actually makes a little bit easy to fix them. And then we maybe track some other bugs for the next release. That is what happens during hardening. But the great thing with Gridley is that it connects directly with Unreal Engine, which makes some of these steps possible to work on even without being on Unreal. So the magic is that by exporting the whole string table from Unreal Engine onto Gridley, that means that for a designer or a UI developer working on a feature, all they need to do is set up the string ID. Once the string ID is set up, and it's hooked with the UI in-game, the string itself can create placeholders that are then exported to Gridley, and we can edit them there. So it becomes very easy, a very set it and forget it kind of process for the designer to just hook up the string as they work on the feature, write some placeholder text if they have to at the time, and then what happens is we export the string table to Gridley, and that's where a narrative designer can come in and review all of the strings. They know usually what text needs to go onto what string, and they can see on Gridley whether the strings have the right text on them. And then for producers, localization producers, live producers, what have you, whoever ends up working with localization in the studio, they can only need to check Gridley to see the source of truth. So whether there are placeholders, whether the strings are translated, where there certain strings had been translated but then got outdated during live, all of that happens on Gridley. If something needs editing, the editing can happen on Gridley. And then when we export Gridley and we put it back into Unreal Engine, whatever is on Gridley ends up overwriting Unreal Engine. So basically, while it's set it and forget it for the developers from in-engine, for anyone who works with text and localization on Gridley, is like, if it's correct on Gridley, it will show up correctly in game. So it is really as simple as that, and it makes the whole process of working with text strings and localizing much more accessible for a lot more people in the team, rather than only the people who have access to the engine.